what's the pattern that's going to happen. I'm going to be asking him some questions, and I'll leave it open to you all to ask further questions to him. Mr. Gupta would like the participation of the audience. Mr. Gupta, how well has DAS progressed in the eyes of the regulator with the last phase close to coming to a close? Mr. Gupta, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me convey my gratitude to IDOS for giving me an opportunity to participate in this particular event. I am very thankful to them to arrange to talk to you through the video conferencing which has been arranged by the IDOS. I expected to visit this site, but because of some preoccupation, I couldn't do that. For that, I am very sorry. As far as question is concerned which have been posed to me regarding the implementation of the DAS, as you all know that DAS has been implemented in 4 phases. The first, second phases have already been completed successfully. In fact, if we talk about the third phase as well, which was expected to be completed by 31st of December 2015, we have already installed around 37 to 38 million set-top boxes for phase 3 areas. There are targeted about 40 million set-top boxes for the phase 3 area. As per MIB, we have already reached a target of about 94%. So it's a great success, I will say. However, because of certain litigations, the closure of the analog signal has not happened in many of the places in the industry areas. MIB as well as TRAI is trying very hard to see how early we can do the needful to ensure that all the S4 areas are given only digital signal and analog signal is switched off. I'm a bit concerned about information which has been flashed on the website of the indiantelevision.com, which says that TRAI authorities feel that if DAS 4 implementation is shifted for some time being, it will not matter much. No, this is absolutely wrong, and I will deny on this particular platform there is any view in the TRAI regarding postponement of the deadline for the DAS 4. Let us be very candid to note that DAS 4 area deadlines is 31st of December 2016 stand, and it will be there and will total switch off by this particular date, and it will be giving way for digitization in the country. Now coming to the implementation status in the DAS 4, as per our information, around 18 million set boxes have already been seeded in the DAS 4 area. The progress is good. However, there are certain concerns. We are taking care of those concerns, and hopefully the pace of implementation will be expedited and we will be able to reach the target. Over.
Thank you very much. So in terms of what are the points that are really concerning you too much as far as DAS's progress is concerned? What are the issues that are concerning you as a regulator and MIB?
See, as far as we are concerned, there are certain apprehensions and awareness in the consumers. Whether this will happen or not, every time when there is a phase coming to closure, the issues are being raised. Whether deadline will be changed, should I get the stop box right now or wait for certain times? Because if deadlines are being changed, then I will be able to install my set-top boxes or not. The awareness to the consumer that they are supposed to take set-top box right now or they can wait for longer time. These are the concerns. I hope that some stakeholders, because of certain delays in switch off of the analog signals in the DAS 3 areas, are apprehensive whether they had to be aggressively pursued for DAS 4 at this stage or not. My message to them would be that we are pursuing these DAS 3 cases very strongly, and The next date of hearing in High Court of Delhi is 3rd and 4th of October. Some decisive hearing would be there, and which will give more boost implementation of the DAS in DAS. So not much of the concern. There are certain anxiety in the stakeholders, which has to be communicated very clearly that there is no change in the last date is happening, and implementation of DAS 4 will happen as it should.
So the problem with DAS 3 was there were court cases which were collected and they were to be addressed by the Delhi High Court, and there's been postponement. What guarantees that there won't be another postponement, even for 3, and what guarantees that phase 4 will not be postponed, not postponed, will be, the deadline will not be extended, but the progress will be stalled because the analog signals are still available in DAS phase 3. The analog switch off hasn't happened as yet.
See, let us understand that digitization is very important and useful for all the stakeholders in the country, be it broadcasters, be it channels, be it CEO, or be it consumer. The quality of service, the number of channels you can carry on the analog signals or the analog channels, the options to the consumers to choose the signals are all pointing towards moving in an area which is digitized. Now, given this particular situation, I think we should not take shelter behind the court cases. There may be certain stakeholders who would have genuinely got the problems of set-top boxes at that point of time. But as of now, you all being stakeholders know that there is no dearth of set-top boxes in the country. Almost all MSOs or DTH operators, or for that DTH operator, has very clearly confirmed that they have sufficient number of set-top boxes. I don't see any reason to look at the DAS 3 area court cases before moving forward in the DAS 4 area. Therefore, I personally feel that the early we complete the digitization, the better it would be for the industry and for the consumers. As far as court cases are concerned, MIP and TRAI both are vigorously pursuing these court cases, and we are very hopeful for the positive outcome from these court cases. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, one thing which has been really disturbing the industry is going forward, you're working on a framework for tariff. When is that likely to come out? Because some anxiety on the ground, some content deals have been signed, but there's still some anxiety on how is it going to pan out.
First of all, let me tell, there is no reason to be anxiety, or there is no reason to be highly concerned about anything which is coming up. Looking at the regulatory framework is one of the prime functions of the court. Now, let me tell the background under which the whole process of reviewing the regulatory framework is continuing. As expected, every stakeholder, with the digitization moving forward and more than 70% of the TV subscribers having digitized framework, everybody expected that consumer charges will increase, the high carriage charges will reduce, the information to the consumer will be higher, he will be informed much more friendly manner than being done today. Bills will be issued, receipts will be issued, and things will be in better. While I will recognize that implementation of digitization in a great way improve the quality of service, the number of channels which can be carried on the platform has increased a lot. The transparency to some extent has increased. The number of customers who are paying now has increased. To some extent, yes, some of the revenues by the government has also increased. But really speaking, mindset under which the business was being conducted continued to be the same as was in Accord. In spite of the fact that now every channel can be counted on on the box that customer is watching which channel or which channel he wants. The emphasis in the value chain continued on the bundle of the channel, some sort of fixed fee deals, or a different combination of that. Similarly, on interconnection, there has been problems. There are various litigations continuing. There are complaints of discrimination. There have been allegations on non-level playing fields and so many other issues. On quality of service also, there were complaints where to go, how to get to of HOS, how to get various information. The education of consumer has been a very big challenge because every step being taken by either by stakeholders didn't reach really to the consumer. So in order to look at the regulatory framework which was actually brought in from 2004 till today, which was more patchy in nature, it was desirable that a holistic overview should be done. Accordingly, we have issued different consultation papers, starting with the tariff, interconnection, register of interconnection, quality of service, and we are examining all these papers in holistic. We have several discussions with the industry through open house discussions and other forums. Everybody is concerned that something needs to be done in the industry if growth has to be ensured. I can assure you that we have 4 primary factors in our mind while making the new framework, that is non-discrimination, transparency, consumer protection, and growth of the sector. With these 4 pillars in mind, the new regulatory framework will be worked out. I can assure you that concerns of all the stakeholders in the value chain will be taken care of while making the new regulatory framework. We are working very hard on these things and hopefully we'll be able to come out with a draft regulation for all the issues within a fortnight or so. I will like to tell very clearly there is no reason to be too much concerned about it because most of the stakeholders have expressed their concern to do certain modification in the existing regulatory framework. So new regime is primarily encourage the stakeholders in the value chain to do the business in more systematic manner and to give a boost to the industry addressing various bottlenecks. Thank you.
Thank you for that, sir. Anyone in the audience who'd like to ask Mr. Gupta a question, please feel free to do so. Anyone in the audience? Winsley, do you have a few questions to ask the regulator? You can come up here and ask the question. This is Mr. Winsley Fernandez from Castle Rock Media. Yeah, you can come here.
So good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, this was pertaining mainly to one point which you've raised, which is a very positive step for the industry. But what we want to know is how quickly can we, while we've asked for a consultation paper has been announced, I'm talking about infrastructure sharing, sir, that still continues to be one of the factors that slows down the industry. Is there a way for us to look at rather accelerating that whole process of the consultation paper so that the industry body actually makes references or makes a recommendation to the TRAI, which the TRAI can review in turn, sir? Would that help?
See, as far as infrastructure, anything you want to say first?
No, sir, please.
Look at on infrastructure sharing, we have come up with a pre-consultation. In fact, I'm very surprised with the feedback on the pre-consultation paper, where most of the industry leaders have opposed the infrastructure sharing. One thing I want to make very candid here, that we have no intention, I will repeat, no intention of mandating infrastructure sharing among the stakeholders. It's voluntarily on part of the stakeholders. What we want is simply to identify the bottlenecks in the present regulatory framework. It does not permit infrastructure sharing to those people who want to do so, and allow them to use the resources in most optimal manner to provide the best service to the consumers. Now, if some stakeholder can submit a consolidated report sort of thing in response to consultation process, this is welcome. We'll look into it. We'll try to see that how expeditiously we can do this. We also feel that this sort of actions on part of regulator will go a long way in the industry. But for those who are not interested in doing infrastructure sharing, they may rest assured that it is not being mandated on them, and therefore they need not necessarily worry on this particular front. Thank you.
So just continuing from that point, sir, and this is, again, we find that very positive from our perspective, from the industry perspective. Having said that, sir, there's always the flip side to it. Assuming that, yes, there is a move for a section of the industry to share infrastructure, and they're happy to do so, sir, would the regulators support that group or that section of the industry, considering that some people may not want to? I mean, it shouldn't become a situation where some are ready to and happy to share infrastructure. I'm talking about whether broadcasters or platforms or MSOs or DTH companies, but there may be some who are opposed to it, sir. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Would we seek support from TRAI to be able to ensure that those who want to share infrastructure are allowed to do so, sir?
Two partners, if they want to share the infrastructure and there are certain problems, we are going to address that. That is what I want to be clear. However, if a particular partner wants to share the infrastructure of another partner who doesn't have will to do so, there will be no mandation from TRAI side at this point.
Done, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions from the audience? Anyone from the broadcast side? Please free to come up. Anyone from cable? Any LCOs? No? Bibu? Come. Bibu, come. Why don't you ask a few questions? Come on. No questions. Okay, I'll go ahead with it then. So there is an issue. I know the new tariff order is going to... Sorry?
It's a very positive situation where most of the people are very satisfied and not much of the questions to be asked from the regulator.
Yeah. Coming back, while the tariff order, you said a fortnight, then how long will the process of that to be? In the meanwhile, in phase 3 areas, there are certain, while we are moving towards digitization over there, the pricing mechanism in that, whether it's going to be digital pricing, analog pricing, there's some amount of confusion as far as certain platforms are concerned. So how do we address that in the interim until the new framework is announced, it gets accepted, and things move on, because you'll probably give them time to adjust to the new framework?
You are on a very specific question where I will like to comment much on that, because that's some sort of dispute going on between the stakeholders. In Honorable TD said, the issues may not be very clearly known to all the people participating in the seminar, and therefore any specific comment from my side would only distort the understanding rather than simplifying the understanding. But I can tell you one thing. Out of total about 40 million set-top boxes which were supposed to be installed in the destiny area, 37 plus has already been installed. It's a matter of just about 4 to 5% set-top boxes which are likely to be installed. Somebody says that digitization is held up because of this particular reason. I think you are the better just to give a decision whether it is installed. It is almost complete. Now, having shelter behind it that there is a court case and therefore analog signal is still continuing, and because of that I am not able to do digitization and all these things. I will like to tell, voluntary digitization has not been stopped by any court. Everybody is free to do that if they want to. In this particular framework, if anything more than that is being talked about, I had yet to understand what is the issue before I comment.
Thank you very much for that. Now, when I speak to some cable operators and to MSOs, they say they're having problems doing interconnect agreements, while MIB and TRAI have been saying these need to be done. There's still resistance. So what is the way around that?
Friends, I want to tell one thing very clearly, that time is changing. And this changing time, any business without proper agreements is null and void. Both MSOs and LCOs be aware that in few cases Honorable TDSAT has passed order telling that if they have no written interconnect agreement, they will not be entitled to get any redressal from TDSAT, and TDSAT has refused to take cognizance of such cases and not entertain them. The second issue, which is very important, there was certain lacuna in the regulatory framework under which even broadcasters can continue to give signal to the MSOs in the grab of continued negotiations. We have come up with a modification in the regulatory framework and very clearly indicate that unless agreements are in place, no signal can be given by the broadcaster. And all agreements have to be completed before the earlier agreement expires. Similarly, there is provision that MSOs cannot give signal to the LCOs if there is no written interconnect. We have gone at various places, discussed concerns of the LCOs based on the feedback we have received and looking at the problem being faced by the LCOs in signing the agreement with the MSOs. We have come up with the framework of MIA and SI. Initially, when we came up with this particular framework, there was concerns in various LCOs forum that this is perhaps not their interest, and they were advised against to sign this agreement. Thereafter, we have taken a series of meetings, different places. We have gone to various places. Now we have started from Bangalore, we have gone to the Ranchi, we have gone to Agra, we have gone to Lucknow, we have gone to various other places as well, and discussed these agreements clause by clause with the LCOs. Tell me where you have got the problem. All the requirement, can I give receipt in my name? Yes, it is permitted in my name. You can agree with the MSO. Can I give receipt in my name? Yes, you can give, it is permitted in my name. Can I provide set-top boxes? Yes, you can do that, it is provided in the MIA. Can I take cap in my name? Yes, it is permitted in the MIA. My advice would be, kindly go through the framework which has been prescribed. We have also given complete flexibility to decide what revenue share you want to have and what works you want. In a very adverse circumstances, since without agreement you cannot continue to provide the signal, we have given an SIA, which is a intermediary provision only and not for a long time, which provides a very minimal work for the LCO, most of the work for the MSO, where the share has been slightly low, primarily because of the continuing court case at the Honorable Supreme Court. Therefore, there should not be any hesitation in signing the agreement, and anyone who has got any reason or any hesitation is first advised to go through all the clauses of the MIA and SIA before he has anything. Wherever LCOs have come to me and telling that I feel this is not in interest of LCO to sign the agreement, invariably they have agreed that they have not gone through clause by clause of these agreements when they are coming to us. And I am sure if somebody reads every clause of this particular IASIA, their all hesitation will go and they will easily and carefully will sign this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there's another thing of the DTH sector. They've been asking for that 10% license fee revenue share to come down. It's been pending for a long time. What's the view of the regulator? I know it's lying with different ministries, but what's the view of the regulator on this? Because you'll have recommended this.
No comments on this. The matter relates to MIP.
Okay. Now, as far as the OTT and VOD is concerned, there was again a consultation paper on that. Have we made any progress on that?
No, OTT is a very different issue. The consultation paper was floated after other consultations. These of consultation have been floated. That's a different area which is going on and nothing to do with our division. I will not be able to comment.
Okay. So it's been any other questions from the audience here, or do I? You seem very positive, happy with digitization. What could the entire industry do better to further the prospects and really reap the digital dividend going forward? Any last words on that? And even the regulator and the government, what could we all do better?
See, my suggestion to the industry would be, as a broadcasting and cable sector, we have right future ahead. We should do business as business. Certain tweaking has to be done in the business models, which we are having today. Especially for cable sector, I will say that the potential of providing broadband and multimedia services is abnormally high. Today we are providing about 65 million cable connections across the country, which is likely to be further increased. These are the cable connections. But if you look at the home pass, they are far more higher than the 65 million. I will emphasize that look at any broadband package being given by the telecom sector. Today, as a cable industry, you can easily provide broadband connection, maybe up to 40 GB data download, 4 Mbps speed or even higher speed in the range of about 800 rupees or so. No telecom operator is able to do that at this rate. Therefore, you are sitting on a gold mine, which you are not using. I have seen a very petty type of misunderstanding between the MSOs and the LCOs for revenue share ranging 5 to 10 rupees bracket. Whereas, if you provide the broadband and multimedia services, the revenue share which you will get is far more higher than what you are expecting. Thirdly, many times concerns have been expressed by the LCOs that they are threatened by the DTH growth. Friends, I would like to tell the type of broadband you can provide and the need of the broadband by the consumers, both in urban and rural area, is so high that that is the most important selling point of your services. Therefore, my suggestion would be kindly look at business models which has already been established in most of the states where LCOs are providing. My request to the LCO holders be, please talk to your counterpart LCOs who are providing broadband and just try to understand, are they facing any problem? If they are better off by providing broadband, why don't you also adopt it? By providing broadband, not only broadband, but multimedia services will increase, your revenue will increase, your ARPU will increase, and overall revenue share will also increase. This will also be very good for consumers. This time is changing. You cannot force consumer to pay an amount unless you give choice to them. You cannot force consumer to pay money without giving him bill or receipt. Today, consumer is not very happy. Some of the consumers who are visiting to us are very critical. And many times they say, what is this? We are not getting choice, we are not getting receipt, we are not getting bill, we are not getting any information. My request would be, at least devote a channel in the local channel capacity for the information of the customers. The empowerment of the customers will increase your revenue, I am telling you. Today, we are not giving them option what they want. We are giving them the dish what we want to provide. None one of us will like to enjoy the dish which host wants to provide. Everybody wants to have a dish which I want to eat and not by anybody else being given. Therefore, sector has huge potential for growth, but to some extent, we had to modify the way we do the business. My blessings and understanding is that all stakeholders in the value chain are very knowledgeable, very seasoned, and with slight tweaking here and there, the sector is in a position to have very high growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any final questions before we let Mr. Gupta go? Any questions to him? Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir, for your inputs. Thank you for being on this Skype call, and thank you, sir. You have a good evening in Delhi.
Thank you very much. Once again, I convey my best wishes for your IDOS 2016 to be a great success, and I will hope industry will take lessons and the future for this sector will be very big. Thank you.